Hi. In this short video, I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about dealing with the discussion forums. In this course, there are 5 prompts that you will interact with, both with me and with other students inside the discussion forum. And if you haven't ever done a discussion forum before, I want to give you some tips and show you what that final product should look like. So, if you go into the course, and you will notice the discussion forums, and they're under weekly modules, discussions will begin in week 2. In week 2, you have your first discussion forum assigned, and you can see here that it gives you basic information about when it's due. A discussion forum must occur in 2 parts. That means that you must provide an initial post by Wednesday of the given week that the discussion forum is due, and then a follow-up post to at least one other classmate responding to what they've written by Thursday at 11 p.m. The critical point here is that all discussion posts must be grounded in textual evidence. That means you must go to the text and provide a quote, a paraphrase, or a summary in both your initial post and your response. The discussion post is really designed to take the place of what would otherwise be classroom discussion. So keep that in mind. When posting a discussion forum, the first thing you'll want to do when you see the prompt is to go ahead and select it. When you select it, you will be given a much more detailed prompt once you choose to create your thread. And so you can see here that the first discussion forum is detailed very specifically there, explaining to you what I would like you to examine. In this case, it's a poem titled Shirt by Robert Pinsky on page 585 and 586 of your course textbook. Read through the prompt, and then remember your initial post by Wednesday and your follow-up post by Thursday at 11 p.m. Remember that all posts must be documented correctly using correct MLA 8 standards. I'll show you some resources for that in just a minute. So when creating a post, you will create your post here, and once you hit submit, you'll be able to see other students post as well. So when creating a post, a good recommendation is to create your post in Microsoft Office Word. That way you can check for spelling errors and make sure that you have the information there that you feel good about before you post it into the forum where everyone can see it. So I want to point out a couple of things, and this is totally a hypothetical post. I just went through and created something that was like the first prompt, but this is by no means an example word for word of what you should include in the first prompt. If you're struggling with any of the prompts, remember that Google is always your friend. You might Google some of the information from the prompt to see if you can see if other people are discussing something in a similar fashion, or maybe somebody else offers you a different perspective on your reading. So those things are certainly possible, but remember you must ground all posts in textual evidence. So in this case, I say there are many similarities between the narrators in the short stories of Araby, the Griffin, and A&P. For starters, each of these stories is a rite of passage literature. The narrator must make a choice, often centered on the idea they must leave the comfort and protective environment of childhood and take a step toward a more unforgiving adult world. And so I go through and begin to detail that idea and how it plays out in each story. First, with the notion that the narrator in Araby is infatuated with someone he can never have, and so he must make a decision whether he continues into the adult world and involves himself in future relationships, even though there is always that possibility of pain. And then in the Griffin, there's this struggle between the childhood world of fantasy and the more adult world of precision, facts, and figures. And so as I go through that, you will see that here I provide a quote to support what I'm saying. Ms. Ferenczi distorts the truth and represents childhood's innocence that is sometimes wrapped between fantasy and reality. That should be reality. When the children first met her, she, and here's the quote, declares that the classroom needs a tree and begins drawing one on the board, an outsized, disproportionate tree. And so you can see that I have my page number here. I just noted that I will continue this discussion there, of course. But at the bottom, once you finish your post, you want to get into the habit of creating a citations, proper MLA 8 citations for whatever it is that you use or bring to the discussion. I want you to get into the habit of creating citations now so that when you get to the larger essay where point values are more important, you'll have a good foundation for doing this. And these are things you probably should have encountered in 1301, although everybody is coming from a different experience. I want to show you some tools that I have provided for you. If you've been in one of my courses before, some of these will be familiar to you already. Under the MLA section in the course menu, and these are tools I will refer to over and over, you'll see this, the MLA 8 citation guided worksheet. If you open this and get into the habit of using this, this will help you to create those longer citations. The textbook also has a section for MLA 8 in the back, so remember to check that out as well. But in this, I just want to point out a couple of things. It's organized into print source, and if you scroll down far enough, you'll see that we have internet sources. So the stories in the textbook are from a print source, and they're actually anthologized. They're in a collection. So there's an anthology or story collection. You can see here that I have a physical example of a poem, for instance. There's a poem in an anthology, a poem written by Isabel Allende titled Toad's Mouth, from Reading Poetry, an anthology of poems. So you can follow the pattern. You have 3 examples here, and then with all the citation examples in this worksheet, you just begin author's last name, author's first name, middle initial, article, title of chapter, title of anthology, editor's name, last name, editor's first name, volume, edition, publisher, publication date, and the pages used. All citations end with a period. So this is literally the pattern that is followed here, and you can recreate it here and then use the punctuation provided here. So basically, MLA 8 punctuation is highly simplified over previous versions. It literally is period after the author's name, period after title, comma, comma, and comma. Continue using commas until you get to the end, then period. So it's pretty simplified, and you can see that the punctuation is correct there, so follow the punctuation pattern in the order of information. And if you do these things, then you should be able to create a really solid citation. Remember, the in-text citation is always based on the initial information created in a proper full citation. So you must start with a full citation. The worksheet is a great place for this. If you have any questions about citations or any other process in this course, please don't hesitate to email me. Anyway, I hope this helps. Good luck with weekly discussions. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with.